Back, friends. Concerns about rising energy costs and the crisis that has resulted therefrom has prompted a sell-off in some long-term government bonds. That situation has some people in the world financial markets rather worried. Now, the important thing to know is that while there is no end in sight to the stalemate that has resulted in Iran, and oil prices seem to be stuck above $100 a barrel, bond traders worried about inflation have sold off long term government debt in the United States and developed economies in recent days. That has the effect of raising bond yields, including on the 10-year Treasury note, which rose nearly 24 basis points in the past week to end Friday closer to 4.6%. It was 4.59% to be precise. The 10-year Treasury yield influences the cost of mortgages, auto loans, credit card rates, and the like. And other consumer debt also follows the 10-year. So when it goes up, the consumers feel the pinch. Its rate is set by the market, not by Federal Reserve. To unpack what's happening at the intersection of geopolitics, energy, and the global debt, you have to understand that energy costs stand at the cross section of inflation that has resulted from the war in Iran and the efforts by President Trump to keep interest rates low and therefore to reduce the American debt and the cost of servicing such a high amount of debt which the American economy is currently holding. As the as we found that the war which started on February 28 has not reached a proper resolution, and China's, although a lot of conceding to the requirement of having peace in the region, but they have not been able to outline a clear path of bringing about proactive change in the Iranian mindset so as to be able to clear the Strait of Hormuz. All this is leading in the stalemate that is resulting therefrom is causing high energy costs. High energy costs is leading to high inflation, is rocking the government debt market in the United States and other parts of the world. And that is something which is expected to keep investors on edge as we begin the week of May 18, and I think a very, very crucial one. So you will find that we are very optimistic about Kevin Walsh, the new Fed chairman, as he assumes office. His intellectual works have been centered on how to sustain the Fed's most important asset, which is its credibility, that could not be more important at a time when the central bank is under political assault. He is going to be thoughtful and deliberate about judging the trade offs that are necessary to preserve the independence of monetary policy, maybe to the detriment of the other responsibilities which the Fed once held. It's also super important to have a Fed chair who has been battle tested. Wash has been through the global financial crisis. He was a Fed governor during 2006 to 2011. So he was credited by almost everyone as being the eyes and the ears of the Fed into Wall Street, and how that was going in terms of transmitting the responses to the real economy. So he's somebody who has been on the ground, who has already witnessed the global financial crisis. And should this global energy crisis go out of proportion, I think he would be a very important person to take charge. His statements, as they begin to appear this week, as he has now taken charge of the Federal Reserve, will be of tremendous importance. People who dismiss him as reflexively partisan are missing a lot of what he brings to the table in terms of working across the aisle. So he's is something he has stood the test of time, has been around, has vast experience, academic and practical, and he brings it all to the table. And I think he comes at a very important juncture where President Trump is rooting for lower interest rates in a high inflation environment where the energy costs remain high. Even if the Strait of Hormuz was to be opened very soon, yet you will find that a transmission of high energy costs is embedded in the system because of the last few months of the disruptions that have taken place in energy. You find that much of the fuel and the energy which has gone to Asia has either been too expensive or too late. This all is going to lead to high supply costs, which are going to therefore be transmitted to the American economy going forward. So far, the consumption of goods which was taking place by the American consumer did not take into consideration this high inflation that was, and a huge percentage of the American consumption comes from goods manufactured in Asia. Asia has felt the brunt much more than the American consumer. So far, the American consumer has been affected only at the gas station with higher gas prices, but not in terms of goods that they have been uh, buying on the shelves and even otherwise. This is because there was unsold inventory of the past. However, as this inventory gets depleted, there will be a point of time where the American consumer will be forced to take goods. The new inventory that is going to enter will be at higher costs and also be scanty because of fuel shortages. The production was also less in quantity and higher in price. All this will be transmitted to the American consumer and lead to higher inflation. Now, how Kevin Walsh, the new Fed chair, handles this delicate balance between higher inflation and the need of the US President Donald Trump to reduce interest rates so as to reduce the burden of America's very high deficit. Otherwise, there would be interest on such high debt. If this is reduced, then the pressure on the American um, economy will also reduce. Therefore, it's a very delicate balance that Kevin Walsh has got to resolve and tightrope. If my understanding of the situation is correct, in the first few days, you will see Kevin talk very well about the balancing act and how it's going to do. But I believe that this week may see some more pain for the government bonds. You may see yields rise a little more, as I understand, particularly in the latter half of the week. And this definitely can be disruptive for the US economy and also for Wall Street. To get to know more, do join our Prime Plus Telegram groups. We give our analysis and predictions of the US markets as they're headed from here. You can do that by WhatsApping us on 732-732-2720. Have a great investing day and investing week ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.